Today we'll start the new chapter, that is chapter 2, Kings and Kingdom. Around the time when Harshavardhana and Pulakeshin II were locked in a war for supremacy in India, a revolutionary change was taking place not too far away from the Indian shore. It was the emergence of Islam in Arabia. So when the ruling time of Harshavardhana and Pulakeshin II were all spread in our India, there was a revolutionary, that means a situation where different types of fighting were taking place outside, or you can say not only in India but also in outside India also, and it was the emergence of the Islam in the Arabia. First topic is emergence of new kingdom. During the earliest phase of the medieval history, roughly starting from the 7th century, vassals or chieftains representing numerous clan identities rose in prominence in different parts of the subcontinent. So in the earliest phase of the 7th century, different types of officers or different types of chieftains were appointed who will dominate or who will rule the different parts of the Indian subcontinent. Soon they acquired power and wealth and asserted their independence to establish independent kingdoms. So slowly and gradually they started ruling that particular area, and they started establishing their own independence areas, more independent areas, and started ruling independently. For instance, Danti Durga defeated the Chalukyas and laid the foundation of the Rashtrakuta dynasty. So the Danti Durga defeated the Chalukyas, and finally there was a new establishment of the Rashtrakuta dynasty. Some chieftains such as the Gujarat Pratiharas gave up their traditional occupation and successfully established their kingdom in Rajasthan. So slowly and gradually different types of single rulers, they started establishing their own kingdom according to the different region of Indian territories. A clan of warriors referred to as the Rajputs dominated the history of North and Central India from about 750 CE to 1200 CE. So different types of warriors, they are referred as Rajputs. They dominated our Indian history, especially in the northern and central India from about 750 CE to 1200 CE. They claimed descent from the solar family or lunar family. So they claim that they belong to the solar family or the lunar family. Many historians stress their ancestry to tribes such as the Huns, Kushans, Sakas, etc. So most of the historians they think that the Rajput belongs to the tribes of Huns, Kushans, and Sakas. They established their kingdom throughout the northern India and guarded the land from Arab and Turks invader. So they established their kingdom throughout the North India and even guarded the land of Arabs and Turk invaders. During the reign of Harshavardhana, Kannauj became the center of all political development in North India. So during the Harshavardhana period, Kannauj was the center of all political development, especially in North India. On account of its strategic position, Kannauj fostered trade and commerce, and high fertility of the soil encouraged agricultural growth. So according to the position, Kannauj is very good for the trade and commerce. Trade and commerce means buying and selling of any commodity or any items, and high fertility of the soils, which help in to make the Kannauj as the best place for the best place during the Harshavardhana period. Due to these, all new kingdoms that sprang up after the disintegration of Harshavardhana's empire were equally interested in acquiring control over Kannauj. So after the defeat or destruction of the Harshavardhana empire, all the different other emperors, their main agenda was that they wanted to capture and control the Kannauj. So because the Kannauj is very fertile, the soil of the Kannauj is very fertile, and it has a very good trade and commerce system in the Kannauj.